Okay. Yeah, I'll be talking about the Composum AI, which aims to support the content author with the power of large language models. Yeah, I don't think I have to motivate that much. I mean, in this morning, they already gave a good use case for that. So I'll just dive right in. The Composum AI is used for text content creation and content analysis and translation. Well, it originally started out as a way of sparing you to copy and paste things to ChatGPT and back if you want to transform something, but it's already evolved into much more than that. It's a kind of add-on to the AEM Sites editor, but it can also solve it be used as a platform for large language model features. Also, if you want to use AI in your project and to support the editor, then there are a couple of things there, because I had to implement many things anyway, and you can reuse them. I made quite some effort to make that reusable. It's an open source project, so you can just take it and take a go. The biggest thing we've been using that so far was the translation of a multinational site. So they had 20 languages in 45 countries. And that's our translation solution is currently, it goes there into production. Yeah, I'll give a demonstration and then say something about the technical background. Good. Yeah, I'm working as a Java developer for some 20 years now, and been doing a couple of AEM projects, and I'm the author of the Composum AI. I'm also a large language model enthusiast, as I enjoy working using them as a workhorse. In the Composum AI, but also enjoy using that in development. And by the way, also if somebody is really interested in using them more than just GitHub and GitHub Copilot and asking ChatGPT, then I'm interested in getting into contact to exchange experiences. There are a couple of tools I wrote for development as well. That's on my homepage. But the Composum AI is part of, well, sort of a suite of Composum projects done by Störr GmbH Dresden. There's one you might even know, the Composum Notes browser is a GCR browser. This has quite some more features than the CRXDA Lite, and it also runs on cloud. So that I highly can encourage you to take a look at that. We also have a Sling-based Pages CMS, and yeah, there's now the AI and a couple of other stuff. So the idea behind the Composum AI was that it's a lightweight add-on for AEM, in the sense that you can just install it and have a go with it. You need to configure very many things, very few things, because there are many heuristics which do the work for you. But if you want, there's much to configure, but if you don't, just let it work. The backend is OpenAI currently, but this is not fixed. If someone really needs something or sends a pull request to extend it, then that's not a problem. So. Yeah, so then let's jump into the demonstration. Yeah, the first thing you will notice is there are a couple of new icons once you have it installed, and this one is the first one that's well, a bit ChatGPT like. chat, so you can just chat with it, but of course that's not the main use case. The interesting thing is that it extracts the text content from the page you are currently editing, or just a component, and gives that to ChatGPT as well. And then you have a prompt library with many examples to get you started. But of course, over time, you will develop your own prompts. Most of them are more page analysis and type in this case. So you can make a page review to get some ideas to improve it. But you could also use it to create content suggestions, if you will, but then you would have to copy out things. Since I wanted to avoid copy and paste, there is another assistant that will appear in all rich text editors and text areas in dialogs as well. And that will open the content creation assistant. The philosophy behind this is that while AIs, or especially the large ones, know incredibly many things about the world, but they don't know anything about you. So you have to give them some background information if you want them to generate something. It can be, in the simplest case, the text field you're just editing if you want to reword the text or whatever. But there are many other possibilities. For instance, you can take the text of the current page. You could even take from an external URL and from linked pages, or even from images if you want to create alt text or description or something like that. So for the purposes of the demonstration, I just take the current page text and have it generate a conclusion. Yeah, it does that. So, and if now you can change the prompt if you're not satisfied. There's even a dictation feature. Please generate a conclusion that is has no items, but it's just several paragraphs of flowing text. Well, it records as long as you push the button, and then it does that. So, and that is put back into the text editor, and you can just cancel that. So. There is now let's get to some pretty interesting feature. If you want, also in practice, I guess it's in many sites, and especially in the weekend site, that you have many pages which have the same structure. There's an overview with a text there, and there is the itinerary with the description for each day, and there is what to bring section. This is, by the way, this is the Composum notes, just shameless plug. So if you want an editor works on this, you probably have a large stack of trips he has to enter into there, and has to create all those pages. So how about we let the AI create some prompts for that? Let's just try this. I'm using the this one. This is a prompt from the prompt library that creates prompts for all the sections of the page. It identifies prompts, sections there, and it creates it creates a description which can be usable to get you started when creating your own pages. So what Ditto could do is just take a description of the trip, and I just made something really boring there as a basis, a matter of fact description, and then paste it in a page template. Let's just generate an itinerary here. I'd put in the URL. Of course, you can add stuff there it doesn't have to be URLs, but you can use another system. And then put in this prompt. And there you are, and you have your description. So this could be a multi-step process, and you have a site page describing your project. Now, if you follow the path, then you will want to have a prompt library with your own prompts. And this is currently solved that you just take a page of your project and have a container with lots of teasers, for instance, which have a title and a description, and this is configured in Sling context-aware configuration. So you can have prompt libraries for individual parts of the sites. Now let's get to the translation part. This was a customer request. They have also had some trouble to manage this site with multi-site manager and translation projects, and they wanted to have something easier. And an interesting property of their site is that they have the same pages over all languages, just with different texts. So the nice solution my boss came up with is to integrate translation into live copies instead of language copies. This means you will have also the English master, and the German master is a live copy of the English one with an additional rollout configuration. It's used for translation. It can so you can easily update. Also, if there's a structure change, then that will be rolled out to the live copy as well. But of course, it's the editor's responsibility to check whether, and maybe fix the text, because no AI is so good yet that you just can say, okay, now translate that for me. I think there are some interesting points for making a large language model translate your pages, because first you can translate one page at a time there, and this can use interrelationships between the texts of the page and be more consistent with translating words or something like that. But what I think is even more interesting is that you can add instructions, just like you could give to a human translator. I guess I'll just show some examples there. So this is we're using the Sling context-aware configuration. And there are here rules for additional instructions. So this would be a rule that applies to the whole site. There are no restrictions here. So that sets the tone and the style, and maybe you can give some general information if that's useful for the LLM. But you can also, if there would be children, a part of the site, then you can give an instruction that it should prefer simple words and address the reader informationally with the German "du" instead of "sie." But the rule that is mostly used are content-based rules. That if you have adventure there, the word, and you can say, okay, please translate this as Abenteuer as opposed to other synonyms. And this would only be added to the LLM instructions for translating a page whenever this content pattern or a phrase, whatever, actually appears. Now, there is something important to know about this, that because it's a live copy, you cannot just go in and change things. You will have to, okay, it's already broken. Will have to break inheritance before changing something, and then also when the inheritance is cancelled, then you can re-edit it. So this means it won't be updated anymore until you really re-enable the inheritance. Fortunately, it's easy to see what is changed there. So you can revert that back if you have actually a change in that section there. Yeah, I mean, there's another thing which Composum AI is useful for, and this is as an LLM access platform for implementing your own features. There is a base layer, which is just an OSGI module, and which translates the various OpenAI interfaces into a Java interface. For instance, if you have a chat with streaming out the response, then there's something there, or speech-to-text embeddings, or just translating things. So you don't have less to worry about there. And there is a Sling layer that's purely reliant on the Apache Sling that provides the basic serverless for the UI and has also the text extraction and configuration stuff. And then there are for the various front ends, also the AEM in this case, there's an extra module there. So this can be the basis for your own functionality. As to get you started, there are a couple of prototyping implementations that are an example which you could use in your own stuff. It might also be used in composing AI at later stage. So there's an AI-assisted search that will take the results from a Lucene engine in AEM and use embeddings to re-rank them for whether they really match the user's query or retrieval augmented generation. This is something you can do in a couple of days so if you want, and for just an exploration. Of course, the real work starts if you want to use it in production, but to find ideas is a nice platform. And there's page templating, which I'm going to show. Sorry. That takes that. Basically, that idea I showed you to create a page to another level. What I described is that you're using several prompts from one knowledge source. And so you can copy a page here and page template, and everything that has something that the AI should generate is marked with prompt field and contains not the text, but the prompt you want to replace, and the other things are unchanged. So there is, well, this is preliminary interface for this. So there is the page path and the URL, and I can just hit replace prompts. So while this is working, by the way, this is one of the things I created from a specification. Also this little UI, we are using one of my projects there. That's didn't need any code there. So, and there is, now if you reload the page, you see that there is a nicely done text there, which is written in a quite friendly way instead of the source there. Okay. So, by the way, there is a quite extensive documentation there. This is the Composum AI site, and there you have many information about how it works and some demo videos and so on. So, Now, as promised, something about the integration details. I've been adding this into the client library secure authoring dialog. And register with several events that are fired when the page is loaded and when their rich text editor is actually started and so on. So this adds the buttons and registers for the dialog to be called when it's started. And the text conversion of the content is pretty interesting. It tries to render the components as HTML. And if that works, and there's something coming back and it's not, there's no exception or something, then this is used as as markdown to inform the AI about the page. If that doesn't work, then it's just taking the properties from JCR, which look like text. So, and of course, there's a plug-in mechanism you could use if both of that isn't satisfactory, but I hadn't any reason to use that so far. The configuration is always Sling context-aware configuration, and OSGI is fallback if there is none. Yeah, this is based on the OpenAI chat completion API mostly, also much of the functionality there, and which is also offered by many local models if you want to go that route. And I can really recommend you to use that in your own projects, because this is some kind of the most versatile APIs you can have. I've listed on the right side just those use cases I'm personally using it regularly for. And it's a very simple API, and you can use it to automate many things which are easier to describe and to program. There are, of course, many libraries, but also command line tools to integrate it into your build and to process files which you need. This is, I would really recommend you to try experimenting with that if you didn't already. The meat of that is basically a conversation just like you would have with ChatGPT. There can be a system message which gives you an information, or the AI and information how to behave in general. And this is one pattern I'm using for the translation. This one thing to remember about is that this is sort of fake conversation, as you're structuring a kind of conversation that didn't not necessarily actually happen, but is structured logically so that the response of the AI, which continues this conversation, is exactly what you want. So one pattern I'm often using is that the user asks in the second message, please, dear AI, please give me the original text I'm going to need to process. So the second thing will give you there will include the whole text that should be processed. So this is neatly separated from the prompt, which makes it a little bit more resistant against prompt injection. And then comes the actual request last, what should be done, and then you've got the response which does translate it. Of course, there is some experimentation needed. Also, this for the translation of whole pages, I need to collect all the text from the page and want to present them as in one block to the AI. So this is handled by introducing some separators. These are just random numbers, and you can check afterwards with these random numbers that all the separators are there. The AI is instructed to leave them as they are. And if everything is there in your response, including the last separator, then it's fine. You know what to put where. Sometimes it happens that the AI goes off. the monitor. Okay. Sometimes it happens that the AI goes off path, but especially if the page is very long, and then this test fails, and you can split the page and to make 2 attempts there. Or to check that all the links are still there in the translation, so it doesn't translate any links. So there is some experimentation needed, but in the end, it's often worth it. So takeaways. Please experiment with AI in many ways. It will become extremely important in the future, perhaps more important than we would like it to have. One thing I often notice when talking to other people about AI is that if you say, I'm using AI, they often think you are a Python programmer who trains local models for millions or something like that. So you don't need to train your models. If I was to employ AI in a project, I would really hard look whether I can use the problem with off-the-shelf AI first, because OpenAI and the other guys are working really hard to get them better in an amazing pace. And only if that does not work for some reason, then we can train local models. So this is another way to use AI. Using the AI as a sort of content transformer is something a mental pattern I've been applying in a couple of ways for creating source code from documentation and other way around. And you have seen a couple of examples in the Composum AI as well. So this is just something to keep in mind. It should be best if you get your end users work with you to create use cases for the AI. Many people just don't know what to do with ChatGPT. There are those guys like me who do everything in this grandmother with AI, if it is possible, but many just don't know how to approach this. That's why I was creating this prompt to create prompts for you that just get you started. So, and this is, you can join. So if you join your customer in this quest to make the best use of AI, then that's the most successful thing you can do. So thank you very much for your attention. Please try the Composum AI. I am eager to hear feedback from you. I think it's very usable as it is. And to choose further directions, that was just be the thing. So it's a rather new open source project, and we'll live with your feedback and, of course, contributions if you like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Hans-Peter. You showed your solution working properly with AEM. Will you also port it to Universal Editor?
Depends. I mean, if someone hires me to do that, then I would be extremely happy. Or if there's a customer who needs that for a Universal Editor and agrees to publish that also. But that's some work there, so I cannot promise anything there.
All right. It's about the DM. Can you use it as well to generating alt text, like even bulk processing for multiple images?
Not yet. I mean, this is the part where you could chime in to use the LMM Access platform. But also there is no feature for that yet. And I think it's important to think about AIs as generating suggestions at the moment, and there's always the content author who should take responsibility for that. So bulk processing is okay for alt text maybe, but I would be careful.
Talking about features, how about SEO? Do you have any SEO features at the moment?
Not explicitly, but I mean, you can call the content creation assistant for the SEO fields as well. And if you create a nice prompt for your prompt library, then that will be supported.
You showed it like your language copy translation process. So when you use live copies instead of language copies, then you have to touch every single page from like blueprint master to make sure that the content does not get overwritten during rollout and sync processes. How do you handle this?
Well, I mean, of course, it works best if you setting up a new site. But I mean, well, we did some tricks with Groovy scripts to attach that, so that worked. But I realized that this might be a problem if you are introducing it into a new site, existing site, sorry.
All right. Last question. Somebody wants to know if there's any relation with big Adobe Sensei AI features, or has it been used for the Composum AI implementation at all?
No, also it's just it's completely distinct from Adobe's work on that. You might use some Adobe Firefly or whatever and integrate some of those language models as well, but this is not done at the moment.
And you mentioned it's open source, so it's fully free. There's no hidden costs besides the LMMs. Yeah,
it's an MIT license, so you are free to do most of the things you would want to.
Excellent. Thank you, Hans-Peter. Big applause.
Thank you.